Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going to dive into my everyday makeup routine. This is what I do when I want to give my face a little bit of zhuzh, but not take too much time to get ready. This is kind of like my go-to. In this video, I'm going to be giving a lot of tips and tricks on what I do in my everyday routine. So if you are interested in watching it, then let's just get started. Hello, welcome to an up close of my face. Alrighty, so the first step in my everyday routine is that I always start with my skin. I've already washed and moisturized my skin, so my prep before is already done. So the next step is to prime. The two primers that I've been loving in combination with each other lately has been the Becca First Light Priming Filter, which you guys know that I love, and then the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer, which I also love. And recently I've been using these two together and it's amazing. So I'm first gonna go in with the Becca one. I take about 1.5 to 2 pumps of this and I just put this all over my face, patting this into the skin. And then I'm going to take my Silk Canvas Primer and I'm gonna put a little bit basically on my cheeks where my pores are a little bit more prominent, my nose, the crevice in my nose right here. This has really been helping me with my foundation, like breaking up or caking right there. And then I'll also do a little bit on my smile lines and my forehead. So I just rub this in really lightly. Let it kind of dissolve into the skin. Okay, and then I could just kind of sit here for a minute or two and let it dry. Before, I would immediately jump into my foundation and start putting product on my face. But recently, I've been letting my primers kind of sit on my face and dry a little bit more, and then going in with my foundation, and I have seen a huge difference in my skin and my foundation when I use this technique of just really letting everything dry and kind of settle into the face, settle into the pores, settle into the lines, and then going on top of foundation. All right, now that I've let everything kind of settle into the skin, I'm going to go in with my foundation. My daily wear foundation does change depending on the weather or what my skin is doing, but currently and for a while, my daily foundation has been the Beauty Blender Bounce Foundation, and I am in the shade 1.30. So I am going to apply that with a sponge. I find that applying my foundation with a sponge is the best way personally for my skin. And another trick that I've been doing is actually spraying my sponge before I apply my makeup. I'll either spray it with just some setting spray, or what I've been doing recently is actually spraying it with this Caudalie Beauty Elixir. I hope I said that right, Caudalie Beauty Elixir, and I've really been loving the results that it's giving on my skin. I just feel like it gives it more of a luminosity and a glow and like a hydration, which you know I love because you know I have dry skin. So I'll spray this kind of once before I go in my foundation, and then again once I do another layer of foundation. So I just spray this. I don't really do like 2. And this stuff smells so good, you guys. So I just dip my sponge into my foundation and then start patting away. Going to spray it one more time, and then I'm going to go ahead and layer it up in just a few areas. Now I'm going to conceal, and I'm gonna use my Tarte Shape Tape, and I use the shade Fair. And then I just kind of sit here again for another minute or two and kind of let everything dry, because I feel like I have better coverage once it dries down just a little bit, because when it's too wet, I feel like the beauty sponge just absorbs all of it. So I'm just gonna sit here for like a minute and let everything dry. Okay, once I've let everything dry down just a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and start blending everything in. I will save my nose for last because I like that line to be really straight. Okay, now it's time for powder. So I used to use the RCMA No Color Powder religiously, and then I discovered this powder. And I'm sure if you've watched a couple of my videos, then you have seen me use this. This is the Maybelline Loose Fit Me powder, and it has absolutely replaced my RCMA powder, hands down. I absolutely love this. So this is what I will use to set my entire face. Okay, now that I've set my face, and I want to go back for a second because I know that I said I set my entire face with this powder, and I do sometimes, but in the winter time, and I would probably say like 85% of the time, I actually don't set my entire face. So the only places that I do set are under my eyes, my nose, my smile lines, my chin, and my forehead. So I completely leave my cheeks alone. I do not set that. All right, so next step for me is bronzer. Today I'm going to be using the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer, and I'm applying that using a JH02 brush. One of my friends was watching one of my YouTube videos, and I was using this bronzer, and I had said that it smells and tastes so good, and she was so confused. She was like, "You eat your bronzer like you've tasted it before?" No. Okay, you know when like you're using it and you're buffing it and it like flies into the air and you like inhale it, or like you're talking when you breathe it in or whatever, and you taste it. Like, I don't mean like, taste it. I mean like the particles, just kind of like, you'll inhale it or you'll taste it and it tastes good. Comment below if you know what I'm talking about, so I'm not crazy. And now I will go in and contour just a little bit, so I'm gonna use my Shade and Light pans. This is the same formula as the Shade and Light palette. This is from the Shade and Light palette. I have just taken them out and put them in the Z palette. So I mix these two shades together, and I use a JH05 brush. This is one of my favorite brushes for contouring. Now I will go back in with my loose powder and just bake everything. So I like to bake right under my bronzer. And then I will bake the sides of my nose. Okay guys, next step for me is eyebrows, and I'm going to do those really quickly off of camera, and I will be right back. Alrighty, brows are done. If you would like to see a full in-depth brow tutorial, I do have that up on my channel, and I will link that for you guys. Now we are going to move on to eyes. This eye look is very simple, very easy. You can pretty much use any palette that you have that has a transition shade and some dark browns to work with. So the first thing that I am going to do is prime using my P. Louise base. If you don't have this, you definitely don't have to prime with that. You can prime with any other eye primer or concealer if you want. We're not going in with any bright colors, so this isn't a necessity. Alrighty, I've zoomed you in a little closer so you can see better. I just went ahead and primed my lids, and now we're going to jump in with some eyeshadows. I'm going to go in with a JH33 brush, and this is essentially an M433, and I'm going to dip into a transition shade. I am using the Jaclyn Hill palette, so if you guys want to follow along with me, the first shade that I'm dipping in with is this one. I'm just going to run this in my crease. I'm actually going to be pretty sloppy with this color. And now what I'm doing is just packing it on the outer corner and blending it in. And I'm basically just going to blend this all over my lid and into the crease. Okay, so you should have something like this, just super simple, nice and blended out in the crease and just basically all over your eye. So you can be super messy with this. Just take a brush and like scrub it on there. Then I'm going to go in with just a little bit of a deeper shade. It is this shade in the palette. You can tell those two are my favorite because I hit pan on them. And I'm basically gonna pack this on my outer corner. And sometimes I'll just do this with one shade. I won't do both. It depends on how much time I have. Then I will add a little bit of a brow bone highlight. Then what I do is take a little angled brush. This is a M165 brush. It's just a little angled brush. And I'm going to dip into a dark brown, and I'm going to line my lash line with this. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect either. And then I will take the same brush and very lightly kind of tug on my eye and blend it in like this. Just kind of bring it up into the crease. And I just kind of use the side of the brush and kind of pat it in there. And then I will take that same brush that we were using and dip into like the tiniest little bit of the dark brown and kind of blend that out, just right in this outer corner right here. And then I basically just kind of go back and forth with that until I'm happy with it. Okay, and you should have something like this. Pretty easy, right? Now we're gonna do the lower lash line. The lower lash line is always a must for me. I feel naked unless I have a lower lash line. The first thing I'm going to do is line my waterline using a white pencil. This is the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk, which is just a white. I'm gonna pop that in there. And then I will just set it with a white eyeshadow to help make it last longer because I have very watery eyes and things on my waterline don't ever like to stay. Then I'm going to take that same angled brush we were using before and dip into the dark brown again. And I'm just going to line my lower lash line. And I will take this pretty far in, but I'll leave the inner third without it. Then just taking a pencil brush, I'm going to dip into the medium brown that we were using, and we're gonna buff this out. Then I'm just going to curl my lashes and apply some mascara. All right, you could totally leave it at this and finish your face and call it a day, and that's what I do probably 98% of the time. But today I actually have an event that I'm going to, so I am going to pop on some lashes. My favorite like natural go-to lashes are Lily lashes in the style Milan. They look like this. So I'm going to go ahead and pop these on off of camera real quick, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, lashes are on, and now we're gonna move on to the rest of the face, and then we'll be done. Alrighty, well my camera wasn't recording what I did, but that's okay because we only did a couple of steps. I went in and did my blush, and I used MAC Melba, and now I'm going in and highlighting using my Ofra Cosmetics in Glazed Donut. right, now we are going to wipe away the bake. And last but not least, we are going to go in with a lip color, and the one that I'm going to be using is a Kylie Cosmetics Velvet Lip in the shade Bear. You guys know that I love this. This is definitely my go-to and has been all winter long. And then just a little bit of setting spray. Alrighty guys, and that is it for this look. This is my kind of everyday, quick and easy, need to do something to my face but don't feel like putting in a ton of time look. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next one. Mwah! Bye.